Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews tonight. We're talking about Ready to Love, Season 8, Episode number 4, Black and Beautiful Hoedown.
I hate that word.
What, Hoedown? Why?
I don't know.
Pimps up, hoes down? Hookers to the point? I mean, what, why do you hate the word? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
You know, what it is. But we're going to get his review. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. Let's get started.
Okay. So first we see the ladies meet with Tommy for brunch, and they finally get a chance to meet the new participant in the process, Katarina.
Katarina.
And they kind of had the same reaction as the guys. It was like, oh man, she's really tall, lots of legs, but she's, pretty girl.
Beautiful woman.
Pretty girl. They talk about how the process is going. Sierra says it's been an interesting process. Unique makes the comment about Katarina that she's obviously competition.
Yes.
And the ladies that have met Christopher talk about Christopher, and how he's easy on the eyes. Not all of them have met him yet, but Tommy comes in and lets them know that they're going to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Dallas. They're going to a Dallas Hoedown.
Right, that's already in Dallas.
Right. A black and beautiful, big black and beautiful Hoedown. Ready to love style.
Ready to love style.
All right. And so this will be an opportunity for all the ladies and the guys to be together. All the ladies and guys haven't been together since they had the brunch before.
Yeah, it was the brunch. Yeah, not the mixer, it was a brunch.
Yeah, the brunch after the mixer. We see Sierra before they go to the Hoedown. Sierra has a one-on-one date with Marie.
Yeah.
Before the trip, she says he's been texting her, and they sit down. They have a really nice conversation. Of course, we know Marie has never been married. He says he's never been engaged.
Right.
Nobody that he's ever wanted to marry. He says, he never was engaged with his son's mother. And he said the thing is because his son's mother never closed the door with her ex.
She never closed it. Like he
found that out after the fact.
He dating her and she dating somebody else. Crazy. But I guess he figured the son is his.
Yes, I hope we've already
established that. I couldn't get that from the way he was talking, but I want to think that he established that the son is.
I like to think so. I'd like to think so. And Marie's got a pretty distinctive braid of hair. So let's hope the son got it. And he's like, yeah, that's my son.
That's not my boy. Before we even get to that point, bro, I hope he did it either.
Yeah. But his thing is, he still wants to be married. He wants to be in a relationship. And, he wants to be an example to his son for how to treat a woman, how to be with a woman. They talk about how long Sierra's been single. She's been single 4 or 5 years. And he was like, okay, so when you're in relationships, you're in there, in a relationship for some time.
Yeah, and we know that she was in it for a long haul, but she also, if you remember from past episodes, she's also has not had sex in about a year. That she's been keeping herself.
Right, but she's not, which is weird, but she's not opposed to premarital sex, but she's been abstaining.
But she's been abstaining.
Marie says he really likes Sierra. He calls her like an around the way homegirl type of vibe, but not at friend zone-ish, but just like it's really cool.
Is that right above friend zone?
Yeah, he said he's the most comfortable with her out of the ladies. She was like, they both want this is my partner type of thing, but it could be more than that. Mm-hmm. And he says to her, I want to be sexually attracted to my best friend. That's the kind of person I want to be with. And
I can feel that though. I mean, that's kind of, y'all want to be friends and to be able to talk about everything, but you also want to look at her in a sexual light. Because how many people say on different shows we watch, whether it's Married at First Sight, whether it's Ready to Love, whether it's Bachelor, Bachelorette, whatever case may be, people look at them, oh, they're attractive, but they're not sexually attracted to them. Mm-hmm. They're cool people. We can hang out. We just saw that with Clint and Gina, right? They were like the best of friends, but there was no sexual attraction. So I'm married at first
Jasmine
sight.
and Eris too.
Yeah, Jasmine and Eris too. I'm married at first sight. So I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. She says this is the deepest that she's gotten conversation wise and getting to know somebody as any of her other dates. So the next date we see before the hoedown, we see Lee go out with Red.
Mm-hmm.
She says, you know, Tommy encouraged the ladies to get out of your comfort zone, to be open, try something you wouldn't, or try to date or talk to somebody
that
you wouldn't normally. And so she goes out with Red.
I know you like this because Red's your favorite person.
she says, you know, can you see a future after the process yet? And he says, you know, and like with some of the women, you know,
mm-hmm.
could you imagine yourself? And he was like, well, I don't want to talk about nobody else right now. I want to talk about us. I want to talk about, you know, what's going on right here.
Smart answer though. Good answer. I'm not mad at for making that answer. That's a good answer. Like, why I'm talking about other women when me and you are here?
Yeah.
Let's keep it. Let's keep the main thing. The main thing. Let's focus on us.
Yeah, she said she really wants to get to know Red. She said when she first met him, she was like, oh, he's too calm for me. I can't see him turning up. And he was like, I do, you know, because she was like considering his job, you know, I figured he'd be a little more. And he was like, I really am. I'm a calm person. You're seeing the family man Red, you know, in those spaces where I'm the comedian and the DJ, you get to turn up Red. But I got the calm Red, the family guy Red. And he was like, I need somebody that can be comfortable with both. Like, I want to have somebody where I can be that regular old Red around.
Yeah, I get that. And nobody wants to be turned up all the time, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to be, you know, the comedian all the time. Nobody wants to be the DJ all the time. Nobody wants to be that 24/7 because, again, most times those type of jobs, you put on a persona yourself. Mm-hmm. That is you turned up maybe to the 18th degree or 20th degree. When you're at home, you're chilling. You just want to be who you are. And yeah, I'm sure he don't speak to himself in third person at home. Like Red tired.
He talked about the fact that people didn't know that, you know, he's worked a corporate job for most of his life. He says he's worked for the city as a contract compliance officer and internal communications manager. And he's worked as a DJ and comedian on a weekend. It's beginning to be more than that, but that's really what he did. And she was like, you know, she likes to have fun with her partner. And she says she wants to see the turn up, you know, let's get from the calmness level. And he was like, you know, if I'm in this space, like we're chilling, we're in an intimate setting, why would I be like at a 10?
Yeah.
Why would I be at a 10? And like he said, this is at home Red. This is, you know, family guy Red. So wasn't really feeling their one-on-one date. I don't think she was.
It was no connection there. No connection.
So then they go to the ranch for the hoedown. The one thing I liked, Tommy came out with some of the cowboys there, actually from the ranch. It's a Black-owned ranch in Dallas, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. And he lets everybody know that the ladies have the power tonight, and somebody's going to be sent home from the hoedown. Yeah. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
And then you went down to get a hoedown, and you get the hose up because you're going home.
Go home.
Go home, Roger. Go home.
And so when they're ready to, you know, get into the festivities, Chris raises his hand, and Chris is like, you know, I'm gonna have to leave early. I'm getting recognized on my job. I'm getting an award. I have to be present. I wouldn't leave, but I have to be there. And Tommy was like, usually I wouldn't let nobody go, but I'm gonna let you go. So, you know, you just make sure you make your rounds.
And and we know that's a farce because my man from Miami left. What was the little short black dude that liked all the women? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he never told Tommy he was leaving.
No, not that one. It was the one that did tell Tommy he was leaving. He didn't show up because he had a job function, but I can't remember his name.
Oh, well, that's when you said he didn't even show up.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's the difference. No, Chris came.
Yeah, the guy you talking about was the one that left to do a party.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But I want to say this real quick because Chris is leaving early later on. Jessica takes him around. I want his presence to be known. So she they did a whole world tour and this Chris nice looking, you know, obviously probably because it's one of her connections, because when she walked about they were holding hands, but it's like I don't want Chris to go, so let me make sure I put him at the front of your mind.
Like this
So
is Chris, so don't get voted off. She was strategic. She was smart.
She
everybody
said
like
it. She said it.
Yeah, she was very strategic and smart. I want people to know Chris is here.
Yeah. So we see a couple of little chats going on. Janelle chats with Quentin. She said the next guy I date, I want him to be able to pick me up. And he was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, "Wait.
Yeah, not a problem.
Not now. I don't want to get picked up right now."
Quentin like, no problem, dog. What you talking about?
I want Quentin to have a mustache. I don't know. It's something about men with a beard with no mustache that just, I'd be like,
I don't know. I've had a mustache since 19. Anyway, so I told my age. Really.
No, 1 year you didn't.
Yeah, 1 year I didn't have a mustache.
Came back to school.
No, several years. Remember, I couldn't have any facial hair. That one job I had, I couldn't have any facial hair. So yeah, it's been a while.
He says, he's trying to hone in on his connections. We see Christopher meet with the ladies. He's trying to make a good impression. The guys are going home. He's new to the process. And when Sierra meets Christopher, she was like, I want to know. I want him to take his hat off. I want to see if he's hat fishing.
Yeah,
hat fishing, because he might look good with the hat on, but does he look good with it off?
I know y'all see people like that. They got a hat on, and next thing you know, they got the George Jefferson. And you ain't know they had the George Jefferson.
Not even that, but the face be looking different because they ain't got the shade. Unique has a nice little conversation with Christopher. She's like, I can tell you got this tough exterior, and Christopher says, Unique, I could tell you don't play any games. That's my first impression of you. And she was like, I don't. They talk about how they both kind of been through a lot, so they do have a a little tough exterior, but they cool people. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have a tough exterior. I think having a tough exterior is not bad, but you soft and squishy on the inside.
We see Janelle and Herbert later in the hammock,
laying in the hammock,
chatting, and he tries to. But first of all, Herbert tries to rock the hammock. She's like, wait, you're doing it wrong. You can't rock it hard. He was like, oh, I could rock it hard.
You can see the jokes coming out. Herbert's personality coming. He likes some Janelle.
Yeah,
he likes him. Some
she was like,
Janelle.
You gotta do some soft moves. He was like, oh, I like doing. That's what he said. I like doing hard moves.
Yeah.
And so they try to get a little swing in the hammock, but it wasn't working. And meanwhile, she says that she says that Herbert and Quentin. Janelle says Herbert and Quentin are her tops, and most of the time she can't say who's number one and who's number two, which is good. They have a conversation about Herbert going skinny dipping. He went skinny dipping in the ocean at the moonlight. He was like, but I could go skinny dipping in the sunlight too.
I'm good.
Ain't nothing stopping me from going dipping.
I'm good.
Skinny dipping in the sunlight.
You're like, read between the lines. I'm good. Like, whatever.
And he asked her, would you go skinny dipping with me? And before she get answered, that's what Quentin goes by, like, hey, watch it now. Y'all a little close. I don't know what's going on over there.
In the distance, ear hustling. Let that man do him. I hate when they do that on the show. If I'm having a conversation with a young lady, we conversing, we chilling, we laying in a hammock, let me finish my game, please.
He didn't interrupt him like that. He was just like,
I know he didn't interrupt. I don't need you to say anything. You broke. He like, and then Quentin and her were like, you gonna finish the answer? Like, are you gonna finish?
Yeah, she never answered.
She never answered. Like, are you gonna finish?
The conversation got interrupted.
You messed me up, dog.
Herbert's like, go ahead, man, keep it moving. I ain't done here. He said in his vignette, he's like, when Quentin walked over, was like, go ahead, don't be interrupting. We see Red have another conversation with Unique. Okay, so this is their third. I hate to say it like this. This is their third run-in. And
all she had to do was
Red's thing is he don't like to leave like the energy the way it was. Like, I'm gonna address the issue or whatever.
He keeps addressing it, and she told him, and again, she should have apologized. I'm not saying she's right. She should have been apologized. But
he needed to apologize more than her, because he said, well, you'd have thought.
But she should have said, if it was a joke that she keeps saying, she should have said, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You're right. It's a joke. I'm sorry. I saw that hurt your feelings. I apologize. Right? Because he told her initially that's hurtful. That hurt my feelings. And so she should have been like, you know what? I apologize. I'm sorry. But like now, every time they see each other, they bring it up.
Yeah, he said he's trying to squash the bad vibes. He's a type of person that want to keep the peace. And he was like, if somebody doesn't like him, then it just is what it is. She says, at this point, honestly, I still feel the way I feel about Red from before. Ain't nothing changed. And he says, you're not even trying to get to know me. How you see red flags when you only had a 15-minute conversation with me? You don't really know me in 15 minutes. And then he was like, I got the best name in the city. And she was like, it's in the streets.
In the streets.
And he was like, she was like, how you a top comedian and you got thin skin? Because I said you was in a thought job. Like, and you can't take a joke. You a comedian.
I understand that. But again, when I tell you, even though it's not a joke, because she was serious. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's not a joke. She was serious. Unique was serious. You said, "Oh, you didn't lie. You didn't go ha ha he ha ha he nothing." You call that man job a thought job. I mean, you implied that the only reason he has a job or why he's working that job, he gets women all the time. If that's the case, why he's on this show? He ain't meet marriage material yet. He didn't meet wifey material. So again,
but maybe it's because he's not husband material.
That may be the case, but I'm going off what I know.
He was like, I do real good business. He starts running down the names of these organizations that he's
the
XFL promoters and the Mavericks and you ain't gonna say I don't have no good name in the streets. That's a bold-faced lie. And then she hits him with that's giving narcissistic vibes.
Yo,
not really. He's just letting you know.
He's running his resume down.
Just because you obviously know me. Because when you saw me, it's like, how do you know me? Mm-hmm. And then you like, why should I know you?
Right. Or we might be in the same circle, something she said. But again, he just run his resume down based off the fact that you said it's a thought job, which, again, his resume doesn't mean he doesn't get thoughts. It doesn't. I mean, all these people, you get a thought at an XFL game. You're going to get a thought. You can get a thought at the Mavericks game.
But his main thing is, I got clout, basically. You trying to say I'm a nobody, but I'm not.
It went from him not being a nobody to him being. It went from
the thought
job, him being a nobody.
Mm-hmm. And all in all, the end of the conversation, Unique was like, I've done my part to get to know him. I'm over it. I don't feel like fooling with it. And so that was it with Red. Red and Unique. Then we see Aries sit down with Phil. She talks about how she was like kind of giddy, excited to be able to sit and talk with him. She's feeling schoolgirlish to the point she's like, I had to calm myself down, like play it cool or whatever. And so they have a conversation about the fact that Aries travels for work, and like, would you still travel for work if you had someone? And she was like, no, not forever. He was like, yeah, because I need you to come home.
Yo, Phil was
I need you to be around me. Like, stop that traveling, babe.
Phil was putting on thick. He really likes him some Aries. And I like Aries. I mean, Aries, 40? She's in the 40s. So she's like 44, 43, somewhere like that. So she's matured than a lot of other people. She has kids, and Phil was throwing a shot. He was putting it in there like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I like. And she felt flattered.
Yeah, she said she likes flirting with him.
Yeah, she likes flirting. She was flirting with Phil.
She feels like they have a connection, and I ship it so far. I like it. They look nice together too. Then we see Kira have a conversation with Marvin in the hammock, and she got them big boots on, the white boots on again. Now we see later Lee had some big boots on, but Kira had the same white boots.
Lee had the green boots on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she had the green boots on.
Yeah, but Kira has the same white boots on she had from the beginning. And
she liked them white boots. I mess with her.
I don't know. She said her biggest thing with him is, is his heart in it. Is he in what he wants? Because he said before that his heart was in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. So like, are you in Dallas? Is your heart in Dallas? Do you want to be here? Do you really want to settle down here? Or do you want to go to the Caribbean? And he was like, but I love Texas. It's great. I could see it's a nice place to raise kids, and it's got family vibes. So yeah, if I found the right person, yes, I would stay here in Texas. You know, and if I'm with somebody, that's my desire to be in the Caribbean, but I would have to take into account what the person I'm dealing with would prefer. So,
Yeah.
you know, that would obviously
He
play a
was
part.
open minded, but you can see that. I mean, to me, it was like, oh, you're open minded, but you didn't explain yourself the day before or the last time you went out, because you just said this is where you wanted to be at, and it seemed like it was no compromising. And
Mm-hmm.
now when she's talking to him, which we'll hear about later when she goes into deliberation,
Well, she actually said it right here in that vignette. She
yeah,
was like, I feel like he's saying
saying what I want to hear.
what I want to hear. That's what Marvin is doing.
Yeah,
We
she didn't trust him.
we see Herbert and Kat have a little conversation right there, and he's like, your reputation precedes you. The guys that met you was like, oh, she's tall and she's beautiful, and you know, because she was like, oh, my reputation precedes me. Is it a good thing? Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
She said she likes Herbert. He's got a really calm demeanor. He's giving real grown man vibes. The ladies are feeling Herbert. Then we see, like I said before, that's when we see Chris and Jessica having a conversation, and she takes them on the rounds.
Yeah.
We see a little brief conversation with Sierra chat with Marie and Herbert. She talks about, you know, she was really reckless in her younger years. It caused her some embarrassment, and so for her being vulnerable is in the process is a big leap for her. I think she got embarrassed to the point where it was like, you know, I don't want to put myself out there, but she's doing that in this process. We see Red talk, have a little conversation. What you about to say?
No, about to say. I mean, it was good for her to open up like that. That was her being vulnerable in front of everybody else. Because again, when you have those embarrassment moments, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be embarrassed again, especially in this case on national TV. So you want to be. I mean, you can see where in some instances she's holding back.
So. Red and Janelle and Quentin are sitting at the table, and Red has a conversation about kissing. He's like, you know, don't you be out here kissing nobody in the mouth. And she was like, I ain't kissing nobody in the mouth. I'm not doing that.
Not doing that.
She says, you know, to me, kissing is very intimate. Like, I'm not just gonna do that with anybody. That's one of my favorite things. And he's like, oh yeah, me too. High five or whatever.
Lying.
I don't know.
He said, he's being a part. Red knows that he's in trouble. He know he likes Janelle, but Janelle used to like him. They used to have, you know, they used to be somewhere in the line, but he's not in her top anymore. So he's trying to find and latch on to anything.
Then we see Tommy come in. It's time for the beat to do some line dancing. And the funny thing with that is Christopher was like, you want me to line dance in front of people? No. Like I don't have no rhythm.
No rhythm.
He really was struggling.
Don't feel bad.
He was like, I can't even do the electric slide. I'm like, God, dog, that's
something wrong.
That's bad. You see, everybody dancing. Herbert is checking out Janelle. You know, he was like, she's a little more friskier than usual when it comes to dancing. He's liking that. Aries says that her and Quentin and Kira are the line leaders. Obviously, Kira used to be Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. She did a lot. She's been dancing for a long time.
Forever.
So when she came out, she was like, I'm finna run this, just so you know. But Aries said her and Kira and Quentin were like the line leaders. Said Quentin really did good.
Oh yeah, they said because they thought Quentin, like, man, Quentin really does. Because I can't remember who made the comment, like, Quentin really line dances. Like, this is his thing. Like, this is what he does. Hanging out with all those, you know, people in Mexico, in Miami.
Janelle has a conversation with Quentin later, and he's like, oh, I feel good to have a conversation with you. You're real popular. She was like, you popular too. He was like, well, as long as we both popular, we popular together. How about that? And she's like,
I can see it.
She said in her vignette that, again, Quentin and Herbert are like neck and neck.
Yeah.
But Quentin's been applying the pressure. And he said at first he was like he was afraid of the process because it's hard for him to connect quickly.
Yeah.
So, but he's been putting forth the effort. And he said since day one, you know, they've connected. Conversation has been genuine and real easy with her. And so he's been liking that.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that he said he's hard to connect because he seemed like he's very open and personal. He feel like he's comfortable talking to people.
Right. He didn't say he wasn't comfortable talking. He said he doesn't connect quickly. So he moves a little bit slower. I get that. You know, she's like in this process, you know, I'm seeing how people are nurturing relationships and, You know, it's the question is, do they really have a relationship, and will they be able to carry that through to the finish line? Like, are we just making small fires, not really catching a full blaze?
Catching a full blaze. You can't throw some kindling wood on that. You got to throw something on there and make that bad boy spark.
And that's why Quentin was like, I don't see us slowing down anytime soon.
You got to keep it going.
We're going to keep it going.
People talk about competition, and you see how Quentin and Herbert are competing for Janelle, but they do it in a classy way right now, for what we see. We can talk about it to this episode, where they can do it in a classy way, where they're both spending quality time. They're both going extra mile to spend time with her.
Yeah. He tells her she looks good in her hat, which is not in her hat, in the hat. It's actually his hat that he had on before. And she says, you know what happens when you wear a man's hat. And Quinn's like, what? It means I'm yours. And he was like, you can go ahead and keep that on there.
Go ahead and keep that.
Don't get in trouble now.
You ain't gotta take that off.
Don't get in trouble wearing my hat.
He's ready. He's ready for Janelle, and I don't think he sees anybody else.
So then we see Lee have a conversation with Marvin, you know, and she's like, oh, I see farm living might not be for you. No. All these bugs out here. He's like not feeling comfortable or whatever. But you know, he was like, it's a lot of things that attracted him to her when he first saw her. She had a red dress on. Right. And she's like, you know, what's keeping you attracted is your genuineness, is what he said. You know, he said his life goal is to reproduce the kind of life that his parents gave him. Yeah. And he wants the next relationship he has to be his last relationship. And so she's like, okay, considering everything that you do, is that relationship a monogamous relationship? He was like, just because I'm freaky
and I do all this other
and
stuff,
I'm a dominant, doesn't mean I'm not monogamous. That just means I just do it with that person that I'm with. And
sure you do. Sure you do. When he said that, I was saying in my head like, yeah, right.
You know, she was like, I don't want you to, you know, be in a relationship and get bored. You know, he was like, no, because I'm gonna share that with the person I'm with. And she says, yeah, because you know, we haven't discussed you know, what I like one-on-one. And right. I could do that if I'm in a monogamous relationship. And so she was like, okay, what is this you like? What is it that you into? Why did she ask that? He was like, I have a booty worship fetish.
Booty, that's what he said, y'all. Y'all heard it right.
ASS worship fetish.
You heard it.
What that is?
I mean, he like to watch butts.
I'm being funny. I know proper English. What is that? What that is?
He a butt watcher. I'm a butt watcher. I'm a butt watcher.
And then he's like, I also have oral fetishes too. And then I practice an art. It's called forced orgasm. And you be amazed what I do, you know, to pull that out of somebody. And Leah's like, nah, not for me. She was like, you know, he about knocked her out of her seat
with some of the stuff
with this conversation. And she was like, you know, I don't understand it. I'm not into it, but kudos to you. You know, it's best for me to slide to the side because I don't get into what it is that you're into.
She said, I don't get down like that.
A butt worship fetish, like
he let everything out. One thing about Marvin, he's been honest. He's not lied to anybody. He's told everybody what he's into, what he does. When they ask, and again, he knows that, and he knows that they have to choose him or select. That's something they want to be a part of. And a lot of women right now are not. Well, a lot of the people on the show are not.
Right. So then we see Tommy come chat with the ladies. They want to know who you feeling. Lee says she's feeling Quentin. She was like, we twins. When it comes to discipline, Tommy's like, no,
y'all ain't twins. No, we ain't doing that.
Quentin.
Nope.
Don't look nothing like you. Stop it.
We're not twins, so.
Janelle says she's feeling Quentin. Unique says she's feeling you. Christopher. She was like, that's a man right there. I'm feeling him. Sierra and Kira agree. Yeah, Chris is cool. It's like he's a city boy, but giving me country boy vibes. Aries says, you know, she's like can feel they've been talking on the phone a lot. Like she's having a good time with him. Kat says again, she's feeling Herbert. She's getting that provider leader.
Oh yeah,
grown man vibes from
grown
him.
Man, she get that protector right there.
I will hope you getting grown man vibes from all these men. If you're not, that's a problem.
They got a couple they're not getting grown man vibes from.
That's a problem.
They said getting ready to send two of them home.
Sierra talks about how she's feeling Marie and how she had, the one-on-one
But
date with
yeah.
him. He's very intentional. Kira says she's feeling Herbert. She said, I feel like he's real. He calls and texts me and we have nice conversations. She said, I don't feel like I'm getting his representative.
One thing I found about this was deliberation. I think I said it to you. Herbert texts a lot of people.
But that's the point.
And Herbert is on the phone with a lot of people. Herbert is like across the board meeting and getting to know everybody.
And that's the point.
Like
we know. Excuse me.
Ain't that many hours in a day.
But we know from before, if you don't do that, it's to your detriment. Because some of the ladies have been like, in previous seasons, like, I never hear from him.
Yeah, I never talk to him.
So you got to do different. Jessica says that she's vibing with Chris. She feels like she's moved past the surface when it comes to him. Tommy says, who are you not feeling? And Lee says, not feeling Red. Don't.
I was like, no, not Red. No, I'm kidding.
She didn't. When she went on a date with him, she really didn't care too much for it, the vibe or whatever. Sierra said the same thing. She was like, it's like a disconnect with him when it comes to communication. No. Kat says same thing, not feeling Red.
Not feeling Red.
Unique says she's not feeling Red. It's like, it starts and stops with him. She was like, it starts and stops with the fact that there's just no connection there. Just period.
None.
So that's why I'm not feeling him. There's no connection there. Didn't like the conversation we had.
They can agree. They can agree to disagree.
Janelle says she's not feeling Christopher mainly because there's no romantic interest there. She says, with all the guys, I'm trying to find something that will move a guy ahead of the pack. And she was like, when I was talking to him, it was like he was just running down his resume with stuff like that's supposed to impress her, to know him. And we didn't see their conversation, but I don't really get that from Christopher.
It's not what we're being shown. But she probably.
But in the conversations we have seen with him, I didn't get that. I think because he did. Who did he meet at first?
He met.
Was she the one he went on a date with? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They found out they went to the same high school.
I think he was just telling her that so you know something about me. It's not to impress you, But anyway.
Yeah.
Aries was like, I'm not feeling Marvin. His lifestyle's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Jessica says same with her, but also he's inconsistent. Kira says, I feel like Marvin is telling us he'll tell you what you want to hear. And so after that, Tommy's like, okay, ladies, y'all have a discussion, figure out what, speaking of which, I wonder when he's going to throw that other curveball where you could save somebody.
Yeah, they did that last season. I don't think they did that. Haven't done it yet.
Yeah, no, I wonder if they will, but
I wonder if they will too.
So everybody comes back together, and Jessica's the representative to speak for the group,
and she did a great job. I want to. I mean, she did a great job with the whole being articulate, being precise, telling the guys exactly, being able to I want to say recite, but to be able to provide the information that the women provided back to the men. Mm-hmm. She did a wonderful job. I'm like, okay, Jessica. Mm-hmm.
She calls Marvin and Red to the front, and Marvin's like, I'm sort of surprised, but not really, because I am different. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm secure in who I am and what I do. She shares with Marvin, you got an amazing connection with some of the women, but your stories give them pause. And the question is, are you really ready to love? Or are you positioning yourself for whoever you're with at the time? That's what the ladies are getting. Red says he's nervous about being caught up. He's been in the bottom before. I ain't trying to be in the bottom again. And so Jessica shares with him, the ladies wonder who you really are outside of your job.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's an unfair question because that's all you wrapped up in and that's all you do. Some people are their job, like Red the DJ or Red the comedian, right? That's what he does. But I know where he has to be able to pull himself back and be able to create a relationship. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. And so the question is, are you really ready to love? And we end the episode without us knowing who's going to leave the hoedown.
I think this one is kind of hard. I mean, I'm thinking, of course, most people will go home.
I feel like it's going to be Red.
I feel like Red is going home. I think he rubbed he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think Red, good dude from what I've seen. I think he's a decent guy. I think he's personal. I think they just he got off the wrong foot with Unique, and she set some things in motion, and some things got put in motion, and Red will no longer be with us, in my opinion.
That's what I think. But also, Marvin's got an what's the word I want to say? I don't want to say abnormal. It's a variant. His lifestyle is a variant.
A variant, yes.
You don't see that all the time, and it takes somebody special to want to
Be a part of that.
be a part of that, and it ain't built for everybody, and so I think that might be the only reason why he'd be going home. But I think that Red rubbed people the wrong way more than Marvin. More than it was not Marvin himself, but what he's into. So.
Yeah, what he's into. So I think Red has some issues. I think Red is the one that's gone, in my opinion. But y'all let us know.
But we'll see.
We'll see. You guys let us know what you think. Hit the comment section. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Put a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to all this. If you watch 30-some minutes, 35 minutes of this video, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you'll miss any other times that we come on and drop you some knowledge from Ready to Love, Married at First Sight, and other shows that we review. We appreciate you. Thank you for rocking with us, and we talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.